Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Dave with Nelson Creek Farm and welcoming you to our midweek video. This week's video is actually going to be part 2. I hadn't intended it to be that way, but I had so many of you comment and so much interest in the death or demise of the incandescent light bulb and what we're going to do. We're going to have a follow-up on today's video. Yeah, so stay tuned. All I can say is, wow, to all of those of you that are subscribers, longtime followers, or whatever, to the channel about the demise of the incandescent light bulb. What I was referring to and got the whole thing started was heat lamps for use in chicken brooders. Yeah, the heat lamps are incandescent, meaning that there's a filament inside of there, that's a little coil that some of us have looked at and seen. And it glows white hot when you run power through it because the electrical resistance in the wire makes it get hot and glow. Okay, incandescent bulbs are illegal to be sold at any store by the end of this month. July 31st, incandescent bulbs have to go away. Doesn't matter if it's heat lamp or this. So like I said, hang on a minute. Putting them down on the ground there. So like I said, this is going to be part 2 of that video from a week ago. You can't miss it. It's got a picture of the little bee holding the light bulb. I got a lot of comments, a lot of thoughts, and whatever on this topic. I've had a lot of good feedback and comments based on this incandescent light bulb phase out scenario. And one of them is from a longtime subscriber, whom I'm going to name just a few of you here, but just for references. This gentleman, I wish he was sitting here with me today. He could give us a whole rundown on the hazards of LED light bulbs in industrial and commercial applications. He sounds very knowledgeable on it, and like I said, I wish he was sitting here. We'd sit down and have a chat and talk about this. Anyway, senior electrician, I'm reading here, he was talking or mentioned to me about that on-off flicker cycle thing that I'd mentioned in the previous midweek video. He says that is 120 times per second here in the United States, and that's because of our alternating current that has 60 cycles per second, okay? Not sure why. He didn't explain it, and I'm not an electrician, so according to him, it cycles 120 times per second. Now, that flicker, he goes on to say, is especially hazardous around machines with variable speeds. Okay, now by variable speeds, I'm assuming he's meaning like mills and lathes that have a rotating stalk on them of some sort. Why that's an issue, he didn't say. That's why I wish he was here. But he goes on to say that specialty bulbs are not included in the ban. So apparently he's done a little bit more research than I've done on this. And I don't know yet, and he didn't say, whether or not heat lamps were part of the specialty light bulb group that aren't going to be banned on the 31st of July of this year. Now that flickering brings me to the next person on the list. CRC in Pennsylvania. CRC writes that they suffer from a medical condition, which I won't go into, that makes it impossible basically to use LED lighting in the home because it's an eye irritation. Okay, now that is a problem that I've heard of from other people, especially those that work in offices regarding LED lighting, that it's hard on the eyes, and it has to have something to do with that flickering. Yeah, so my suggestion to CRC and Penny, another subscriber and follower of the channel, is if you're having an impossible time finding incandescent light bulbs in your area, go on eBay, Craigslist, something like that, and see what you can find, because they are still out there on eBay. I checked and looked just this morning, and I found a bunch of it. Just put incandescent light bulbs, see what pops up. Now, CRC, I hope you can find something on eBay, but I would definitely stock up on incandescent bulbs just to help you with your eye condition. Now, I had two individuals, Penny and Brian, send me a message. Brian asked, what will they replace the chicken warmers with? And Penny dislikes LED bulbs and wants to know if the heat lamps will be exempt. Well, as I already mentioned, Penny, I don't know. I'm a single guy. I have an in-town job. I'm trying to run the farm here. It's all 7 acres. It's all I can do just to kind of hit and miss some of the target areas there. So I have no idea if the heat lamps are part of the exempt bulb status or not. So somebody's going to have to do a little more research on that and find out. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you, Penny, on the heat lamp. But if you can find them and you're using them, I would suggest you stock up either through your local hardware stores, box stores, whatever, or, as I mentioned before, eBay. Now, Brian asked, what were they going to replace the chicken warmers with? Well, I went online, did a little bit of looking, and I found several different options for brooders, most of which seem to have some sort of a light bulb in them, generating heat. Everything from a halogen bulb that screws in, that they use in track lights, to even one that had a thing in it that looked like a quartz element out of one of the old quartz style little box fan heaters used to sit on the floor that was real popular back in the day. So Brian, I have no real good answer for you. I have heard of people using those warmer pads that they put underneath plants that they're trying to get to grow in like a little greenhouse. It's like a heating pad. I've seen people use these plant pads, warming pads, in their brooders because they are moisture resistant and that sort of thing, which is definitely something you want because in case chicks spill their water or whatever, it needs to be water resistance for shocks. Yeah. So right now, Brian, I haven't got a good answer for you on your question. Unfortunately, brooders aren't part of this topic of conversation. The incandescent light bulb is. However, stay tuned for next spring when I get around to actually doing baby chicks. We may have something in the way of an answer for you then. Please keep in mind, though, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just throwing some information out there that I've picked up over the years, the months, the weeks, and whatnot prior to the time of this video being filmed. And I'm in no way, shape, or form an expert in any field at all, period. So if you have some thoughts, comments, whatever, leave them down there in the comment section down below or drop me a line on the email. That's going to wrap it up for this week's midweek video. The topic, incandescent light bulbs and how they're going to go away and what we're going to do about it. Anyway, I would appreciate it if some of you would like to make comments or suggestions down in the comment section down below, or even email me if you have questions or whatever. We can get you maybe some answers. Keep in mind, though, I'm a single guy, only guy here on the farm. I do have an in-town job and things to do here at the farm. I do not have a research staff to go and look up everything for you. Some of you are just going to have to Google your own questions and see if you can get an answer on them. So from Nelson Creek Farm and yours truly, Farmer Dave, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to all of the old and new viewers out there. And if you would, please pass this show on to your friends and family or anybody else that would like to see this kind of content. And as always, right down over there, right down there, that big red thing that says subscribe on it, for all of you that haven't yet, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click on that subscribe button. Yes, I would. I'm looking at taking an early retirement in a couple of years, and hopefully we'll have enough subscribers and following viewing hours to start getting a little bit of monetization off of it. That's kind of the goal anyway. Knock on some wood. Anyway, I'm Farmer Dave wishing you well. Y'all be careful out there. Y'all have a good one now. Bye-bye. Well, all of the incandescent bulbs we had here on our clearance shelves are gone today. Now, for those that were wondering about heat lamp bulbs for various applications, including the brooders, those are still here on the shelf. Now, those must be considered specialty bulbs because all of our specialty bulbs are still in stock here at the store.